Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Blackshirt Breakdown. My name is Steve Marik. I'm a staff writer at Inside Nebraska. And that man over there, that is Jay Foreman, our NFL veteran and former Nebraska Blackshirt. Jay, the early signing period, the first day of it was Wednesday, and it was pretty fruitful for the Huskers. There were a little bit of surprises on Wednesday, at least from my point of view, and one of them we'll be breaking down today in Larry Tarver Jr. Larry Tarver Jr. is a 5'10", 170-pound cornerback who played his senior year at Miami Norland High School. Like I said, he was a four-star athlete. He's ranked currently by Rivals as a number 34 corner in the country, and 52. He was ranked number 52 overall in the state of Florida. So really talented guy. But Jay, we'll get into more of his highlights here, but just initial reactions. We'll be talking about Larry Tarver specifically today. What did you think of Larry's huddle highlights here?
Well, what jumps off is how smooth he is and how he attacks the ball, and actually he makes obviously you'll see right here is that he makes interceptions in traffic, so he has good ball
Mm-hmm.
skills. I think the bigger point is you got the flip. I think he was originally thought that he was going to go to Maryland,
Yep.
and it's not just you're taking him away from a Big Ten team, but I'm looking at it a little bit deeper that Maryland has shown over the last, let's just say, 4 years to put a lot of defensive backs in the NFL, right? So they know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So then therefore they get this, kind of, Maryland stamp of approval. Just last year they had, I think his last name was Banks, went first round
Mm-hmm.
to the Giants, and so their defensive back and defensive coordinators know what they like, out of a player, and so for Nebraska to get him at the time that they did was which made the Nebraska signing day, it was already great, but it made it even better.
Now, Larry Tarver Jr. was kind of a late bloomer. He originally was a Florida International commit. So he was a Florida International commit in April, and that lasted until June. Once June came around, he started going to some camps. He started playing, just showing coaches and scouts what he could do, and they liked it. So he picked up a Maryland offer. He picked up a Texas A&M offer, and he actually visited College Station, saw what the
Right.
Aggies are all about. He decided to go with Maryland and was a Maryland commit since June until Wednesday when Nebraska and Evan Cooper flipped him. So good stuff from the Huskers there. Just a little bit more background on Larry Tarver here, who we're going to be breaking down here in a second. 27 tackles as a senior, 4 interceptions, 3 of them found the end zone as pick sixes. So that's kind of nuts. 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. And I'm kind of glad he did some damage in like other side of the line of scrimmage because he's quick, and we're gonna get into it right now because he can do a lot of good stuff. But so Jay, this first play that we're gonna be breaking down here, it's one of the pick sixes that he had as a senior. Really good stuff. What I like about Larry here. He's fast, really fast, and his break when he knows where he's going and like the flip switches, he goes, and it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm surprised he's 170. He looks like he's a bigger kid than that, but that's good because he plays big. But the one thing about I like it that the speed, quickness, and he has really good footwork and no wasted steps. And then he's like, he gets out of his break when he plants his foot. He gets to where he's going really quick. But I like even better. We'll see in a play or two later that he has really good play recognition. So that allows him to really show off his athletic ability. And if you look at his initial position. Obviously, they're thinking that he's playing more like of a third, and he kind of does like we used to call this a scoot technique, right? And so now right there, he's already on his break, so
Mm-hmm.
he essentially ran the route for the receiver, via the quarterback because of his initial deeper alignment, and then they thought he was going to play like a deep third, but what he did was he's playing man, but it was a little bit of a scoot technique, and you use scoot technique when you're playing in some weather, elements, rain, snow, or something like that. But obviously, you can bait a quarterback, especially at the high school level, into doing that. He knows it's the wide side of the field just by their alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anything that goes inside, I'm sure is going to other people. So he knows, if they throw it out, an out route, he can really gamble on it because he has recovery speed, and if you see it, he has safety help over the top. So it's not just athletic ability. I think for him, it's the play recognition and the initial footwork.
Now, I apologize for the viewers at home. I cannot change that. So I realize our faces are right where Larry Tarver is doing some work. So I apologize that. But let's move on to the second play, Jay. Again, he's at the wide side of the field as we see over there. And again, the recognition, the play recognition. I like what you said, running the route for the receiver. I mean, that's something I remember saying about Omar Brown against
Right.
Minnesota in that season opener.
Sure.
If you remember that play, his interception. So something similar there. But again, take us away, Jay. What do you see with this one?
Well, again, he's at the wide side of the field and he's starting to play the route. And I like it right there where he comes down at a 45-degree angle. It's almost like he's baiting the receiver
Yeah.
or baiting the quarterback to throw him. Because normally you think he'd break hard on that, but then he knew if he waited like a step or two, the quarterback would try to throw it to him. And he has really, really good recovery speed and obviously very quick out of his break. So you see this right here. Again, both the corner and him are mirroring each other at the bottom of the screen and they're kind of playing, it's like a box technique where you're keeping everything inside and you're kind of reading the
Okay.
quarterback's eyes, right?
Yeah.
So it's really good, job and ball skills right there. And the one thing I really like, even above everything else we see on this highlight tape is two things. One, the ball skills and attacking the ball. The number two, obviously, as we've seen, three of his four interceptions have been returned for touchdowns. So it's not just him returning it; it's his teammates. They know once he gets his hands on the ball, it could be a house call. But I like it right here. Baited him into it, and in this coverage right here, they're trying to keep everything inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing a little bit of underneath coverage, under man underneath, and they got a guy to the flat. So he knew right there, number one is his, and then he knew when it was coming inside, you could cut underneath it because you see the linebacker there and safety help. So it's not only play recognition, it's defense recognition, and then obviously, coverage, I call it coverage excellence, where you are able to execute the initial coverage, but then obviously make it even better by making a play on the ball.
For sure. And one thing I wanted to bring up was his speed. I mean, he ran the
Right,
100-meter dash. I think it was like 10.65 seconds, which is really
right,
really good. And then his 200 time, he was in the 21 seconds. So
right.
this kid can move. This cat can move. And I don't know. I think I see maybe a potential for a returner on special teams as well. Something like, he kind of reminds me of Ethan Nation, just a little bit
Sure.
undersized, but boy, he can move and see vision and everything. But again, I really, really like this next one, Jay. Again, you talk about running the route for the receiver. I mean, this receiver, Larry Tarver, just does not let this receiver get any sort of separation at all and runs a slant for him.
Well, you like it. You could, you got to evaluate him in off coverage. Now you got him, up coverage, and you like the footwork right there, right? He doesn't turn his shoulders, squares or hips are square, shoulders are
Mm-hmm.
square, physical, and then guess what he does? He makes the 50-50 catch. Then
Yeah.
now you got the return ability that you talked about previously, and so he's a good football player and he's a
Mm-hmm.
tough kid, and you could just tell that it jumps out on tape where you see, kids and players that really love to play football. And I'd be very surprised if that's not one of the things that the coaches pick up on rather quickly and that he doesn't, show when he gets to Nebraska is that he likes to play football. He looks like he likes to compete. And, he knows that, competing just isn't, going out there and playing on a Friday or Saturday whenever they play is that, he's had to do quite a bit of film study in order to get where he's at. And I think it's even better story for him to start out with a FIU offer,
Yes.
and then kind of bet on himself, go to a couple camps because you could go to one of those camps and not only you maybe lose that FIU offer if you don't perform well, but then also lose ground on trying to get any potential bigger schools. And so he goes to Maryland, which is a great Big Ten school in
Mm-hmm.
itself, and has went to 3 or 4 straight bowl games guys in the NFL. And then obviously Nebraska came in. It's a good job by Coach Cooper identifying him
Yeah.
and obviously, talking to him and getting him to look at the true opportunity here at Nebraska. And so competition is wide open at one of the corner spots or both of the corner spots. And so, uh, for him, it's a no lose situation. It's a win-win situation. You get to come to a great school, and then obviously you get a chance to play early if you come in and compete and play well.
Yeah, so the corner position, losing Quentin Newsome, longtime starter for Nebraska, but you bring back Tommy Hill. You got Malcolm Hartzog, who's towards the end of the season played some more safety, some slot DB. But then there's also Dwight Boodle. The coaches were very high on Dwight Boodle before his season-ending shoulder injury in the third game against Northern Illinois. There's also Sincere Safuela, also from Miami, a former Coop commit. And then yeah, Ethan Nation, like we said,
Yeah.
as well. But again, I wanted to add the pick sixes. I wanted to add the pass coverage. But then, in the Big Ten, you're going to be asked to support in the run too. And I really liked what Larry Tarver did here, on the line of scrimmage, getting in the backfield and kind of raising some havoc. And, if you close your eyes and kind of imagine like what Larry Tarver could do in college, having him come off the edge on a cat blitz, like, short side of the field, having him go. I mean,
Right.
that's pretty cool to think about too.
Yeah, he could do it, short side of the field, close side of the field, or open field. He's a
Yep.
good football player. I mean, the one thing you need to look at is he looks very familiar up there.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does.
he doesn't look out of position. Look at
Hmm.
him, and then what I like right there is finish, physicality right there, caused the fumble. I like
Yep.
guys that turn the ball over, but him just lining up right there, he's excited to get there. Like I said, this dude is a football player. He's not
Hmm.
scared. 170 pounds or whatever he is, he's not scared to get up there. And look, he got a little get off on him too,
Yeah.
little pass rush move. Look, he's not just out there just holding the spot. He's looking at every time that he gets on the field or in position, he's got to make a play, and that's what he does. I like playmakers. He's a pretty good tackle right there. Not pretty good. It's a heck of a tackle right there,
Hmm.
and got the quarterback to fumble the ball. So he can come on a cat blitz. He can come on a corner blitz. He's physical and tough. He's going to stick his nose up in there and he's going to tackle. So you're getting a really good football player, really good corner, really good athlete, potential in the kick and punt return game as well.
And this one, he comes from a little bit more depth, about two or 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. But again, the speed, the burst, the right there, and he's in the backfield. I love
Yeah.
that.
One thing about him, he's got really good track numbers. Sometimes those guys,
Yes.
don't play to their speed. He plays exactly to his speed and then some.
Yeah.
But then the best thing about it is he has quicks to go with it. So what I mean by that is sometimes you get track guys that can't move laterally. He can move laterally, and he's physical, and he plays up to his track speed. So when you think, okay, let's look at his track numbers, see if he can run. He can run both short, obviously intermediate routes we've seen him pick off, but then also that he would probably fare well on the deep balls as well. So he gives you a lot of flexibility, but then also you're getting a true a great athlete, and the guy that, his track numbers match up to his football, tape and speed. And so this is a really big get for Nebraska in the sense of you're flipping from Maryland, but to be ranked so high, if you think he's the number 34 ranked corner in the whole nation, there's only,
Yep.
50 states. And so just if you trim it down, say the 42 states are really where, guys that are going Power Five are from, he's one of the top corners to come out. And so there's not a big, drop off from one of the top positions to him. If it's a height or a weight thing, that has nothing to do with playmaking ability, because Nebraska has a really good weight program and nutrition program that where they're going to be able to improve any deficiencies that he has from high school to come in college. And so it's a really big get. Good to get a good player, not going to a rival Big Ten school. You're getting a great player and a football player, and a guy that's only going to be ascending. And what I mean by that is, as you saw him move up the ranks as far as where he got offers from, it probably correlated to as he got better as a football player. Had a pretty probably decent junior year. Florida Atlantic has a really good probably off season. I know they got spring ball down there in Florida. Goes into track season, goes into the camps and all that. Next thing you know, he's on everybody's radar, and I can almost guarantee if he had another year of high school or another kind of season to go into,
Hmm.
he'd be ranked even higher. So you're really getting almost a recruit and a half.
Let's stick with the cornerback situation. It'll be the last question before we get out of here. Jay, what do you see from Nebraska's corner situation? We mentioned Quentin Newsome. His time is come and gone. He's out. He's declaring for the NFL draft. What do you see from the corner, and maybe can some of these new guys maybe nudge their way into some playing time?
Oh, I mean, it's open competition. I
Yeah.
mean, there's nobody that in that cornerback room, even if they played last year, should feel like it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to play the whole game. Now, some guys
Hmm.
have a leg up, probably. Obviously, Tommy Hill and Hartzog, yeah, they do. But you got Boodle, you got Nation.
Hmm.
You got
Tafuela.
Tafuela, you got Tarver coming in,
Yep.
and I'm sure I'm missing. So
Oh, that
it's
Bly Hill, that
yeah,
FCS
yeah,
transfer from
Bly Hill,
St. Francis.
who has more experience than anybody
Yeah,
else
he
besides
played a
Dill
lot.
and Hartzog, and he
Hmm.
has the confidence. So
Yes,
I would not it would not surprise me that guys are battling out for the starting position all the way through fall camp, and that's the way it should be because yes, the guys will start and play, but you also have guys that can come in and play as well. So I think it's a good position to be in if you're Nebraska because you're building depth, and then you got true, tangible competition as well.
absolutely. So that was good stuff. That Jay, you kill it every time with these things. I enjoy talking with you. So whenever Nebraska gets another, we'll probably pump out another one of these Blackshirt
Yeah, I
breakdowns for
think so. Yeah,
one of these new
hopefully one in
recruits.
in a week or two, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for Jay Foreman, my name is Steve Mark, and that was a Blackshirt breakdown, Larry Tarver Jr. edition. We'll catch y'all later.